keeping
Yeah.
with hip hop for a bit, but now we're gonna get into actual movies. Now we're gonna talk about a remake that I imagine nobody saw coming. The one for the iconic 1972 blaxploitation film, Superfly. So before I get into my thoughts on the old film, just briefly, have you seen Superfly, or are you what do you know
Yeah.
about Superfly itself?
Barely remember it. I just know it for the soundtrack. Barely remember the film. But I remember seeing it once a long time ago, and I was like, "Ah, okay, you come and go on for me."
Yeah,
But I know it's a classic. It's not as iconic as Chef.
no,
My,
it's that, it's that. So speaking of Shaft, the director of that film being Gordon Parks, this one here, Superfly, was directed by his son, Gordon Parks Jr.
okay.
Um, and as I mentioned, soundtrack. One thing that stood out the most with this movie, and still does to this day, is the excellent soundtrack for the movie from Curtis Mayfield, the icon, the king. Um,
Yeah.
this is like one of the rare examples where where the music is the movie itself, where it becomes so ingrained in the movie that taking it out will just make it lose its flavor, its substance. Basically, it's almost like,
Yeah.
another example comes to mind, but this one was kind of wrongfully marketed as a black exploitation film at the time. The How They Come, Jimmy Cliff's music.
Yeah.
Well, just the reggae music that
Yeah.
they had here pretty much kind of embodied what the movie was about. And same thing here with Superfly here. I mean, Curtis Mayfield, who composed the music, performed, the music, and, sung the tracks here. Um, pretty much sums up the times that they were set up here. So yes, for those who don't know, this movie came out in 1972. It focuses on the character of Priest, who is played by Ron O'Neill. He is this drug dealer. His specialty is cocaine. He is the best in his game. Nobody could fuck with him. He's that type of person that just so focused on his job. He's living the life too. Fancy car. You see him driving a Cadillac. He has like two girls in the bed and all that kind of stuff. He still have his girlfriend, who is her name is Georgia, who's played by Sheila Fraser, and basically the story involves him just wanting to get out of the drug game. So he comes up with this idea for this one big final score, where I think he's selling X amount of keys, and he will come out of it with $1 million basically. And with the idea with that money, he could just settle in and just retire from the drug game. And the movie just kind of follows him as he just goes about on this journey. But I actually watched this over before going into the new one. And one thing that really impressed me about this movie here is the kind of cinema verite style of it. It almost feels like this fly in the wall kind of approach to everything. It's almost like a camera is just following these guys, and it's just like this gritty sort of documentary about life in Harlem, at the time in the 70s now. From the way how the characters walk, how they talk, the jive talk, the grittiness of the environment, just how the characters move and everything like that. I don't know, it was just kind of groundbreaking to me. But I mean, yes, we would look at it now and it'll feel dated, just right down to the title, Superfly. Yeah, Superfly. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And the outfits, and and Priest's, straightened slick hair and all that kind of stuff. You watch it now and you laugh at it. It's kind of funny as well. But because it has this particular tone to this real dark kind of moody tone, and of course Curtis Mayfield's soundtrack, that just makes it less funny that you might think it is. It just makes it so serious. You know what I mean? It just adds so much to it. The soundtrack is one of my favorites, one of the best albums I've ever heard in my life. I love the title track for one thing. Great tracks has been referenced in tons of rap songs and whatnot. For one thing,
Yeah.
I could call out a few examples. Snoop Doggy Dogg's Doggy Style made reference to Superfly. The Eminem, not the Eminem show, the Slim Shady LP made a reference to that. Kanye West's Flashing Lights, that beat
Yeah.
lifts the horns, no, not the horns, the violins from Little Child Running Wild. On the subject of that, Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker has a great scene, probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. That's the flashback scene where where Smokey was smoking weed with the Latino guys that Angel Dust. They were playing Freddy's Dead during that scene. great moment. So yeah, I mean it's influence in just black media and just hip hop in general. I mean it's no denying that, right? There was a sequel to it called Superfly TNT. God damn, that movie sucked. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
basically it's like this sequel, and like he is retired, and then somehow he hooks up with this African fella, played by I believe is you pronounce it Robert Guillaume, whatever his name is. He's from Benson. Well,
go him,
yeah,
go up.
Guillaume's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, yeah, he was in that, yeah.
right, and it was written by Alex Haley. It was just basically this whole kind of
Yeah, wow.
Afrocentric kind of thing, basically. So he was trying to run guns for
Yeah,
this
but
guy in Africa to lead a resistance, but it was just so slow and painfully boring and pointless and meaningless.
yeah, well, Alex Haley, boy, wow,
I
boy.
know
You got
Alex Haley
big
wrote the
writer for that
script for
bullshit.
this though, and
Yeah.
it sucked.
Wow.
Like how is Alex
Yeah,
Haley dread? Like what the hell? But I guess the only reason why people kind of seek this movie out is because of the soundtrack. It was performed by from this band from Ghana by the name of Osi Basa. So I guess if
Right.
you're into like Afro pop music, if you're just like classic, black music, then I guess you could go in some record store somewhere and find the vinyl and sample it and put it in rap songs. You know what I mean? Like I would be surprised if a guy like Madlib or J Dilla, rest in peace to J Dilla by the way, probably found this vinyl and live samples of it long time. You know what I mean? But yeah, other than that, that movie sucked, boy. Waste of time. No wonder
Right.
people don't even know about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, Superfly though the original one is a classic, but classic in terms of the genre itself, and that's what I'll get into with this remake here. You have to understand the genre of it, because yes, it does have this social context. It basically, just the plight of African Americans, where like one of the characters say, drug game is the only game that the white man give them give them that they could win in, basically, So it's like
Right.
this is how messed up the conditions at the time were, where any poor black kid from the hood could just sell drugs and make it big, so it touches on that. But of course at the time, people were like, why you have to show black people selling drugs, being pimps, blah 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 blah. But over time,
Yeah.
people understand the context and the point of the movie here. Which leads us to the remake here, right? Now before I get into the remake, what caught me by surprise though was the director of this movie. It's from a guy, well his moniker is Director X. His real name is Julian Christian
Right.
Lutz. He has directed tons of
ton of
videos
videos.
over the years. Tons. I'll just call out a few quickly.
Yeah.
Redman's I'll Be That. DMX, What's My Name?
Yeah, right.
Love that. Probably the best DMX song ever. Donnell Jones, Where I Wanna Be. Love
Right.
that song. One of the best R&B songs ever. R. Kelly featuring Jay-Z, Fiesta. Step in the Name of Love.
Oh,
Sean
yeah,
Paul's
right.
Get Busy. Sean Paul's Give Me the Light. Nelly Furtado's Promiscuous. Game, Let's Ride.
Right.
What else? I just calling out. One sec. Nicki Minaj's Your Love. Drake.
Right.
Hell yeah, fucking right. Drake, Worst Behavior. Drake, Hotline Bling. Yes, he's the one who directed that video.
Of course.
That meme friendly video. And quite recently, he directed French Montana's Famous and Drake's God's Plan. God's Plan, the song that everybody loves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as as far as directing talents go, yeah, the man is excellent. I would actually I'm a more of a Hype Williams fan, but that's just because I grew up on Hype Williams videos. But to me, he was like the successor of Hype Williams in a way, in
Yeah.
its own way. And one thing that one of his signatures was always having like black bars kind of open up from the top of the bottom, and then it would close with like
Yeah.
either from the top of the bottom or like in this case with the movie, because yes, he does it in Superfly, he does it from left to right, so it closes like that. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, so with a music video director, more hip hop music video director helming this film, I was telling myself, all right, this is gonna be Belly again. This is gonna be a movie that just
Right.
looks and feels like a music video. Very heavy on style, but little to nothing when it comes to substance. And I
Yeah.
have to say that's
Right.
what Belly was. I mean, Belly is a
Yeah.
cult classic, but let me be real. It's light on
Yeah.
substance. It's very light on substance.
Yeah.
But the style of that show, the visuals in that show, holy shit. I mean, come on. Just the intro for that movie alone. Brilliant, right? So, another interesting thing about this movie here, this remake of Superfly, is that no Curtis Mayfield didn't compose or do the score or the soundtrack for this. But you know who did it? Your boy Future. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
your boy Future
Love.
do the soundtrack for this. And yes, you do hear him.
Sad.
You hear his music in it. I was kind of funny though is that I was hoping to see a cameo from him at least, because even in the Superfly movie, the 1972 movie, Curtis Mayfield was there. He was on stage performing one of his best songs, Pusher Man, and Pusher Man does show up in this movie here. Like that song in particular. Well, you've heard of it, right? You know the song. I'm your Pusher
Yeah.
Man. You know. That kind of sums up what Superfly is about. Just being able to sell drugs. I could sell it to this guy and that guy, and I'm so smooth and I'm so super fly and whatnot, and baddest bitches in the bed, and you know it kind of sums up the character of Priest, right? So jumping into the movie here. So yes, the character is Priest again. His name is Priest, but well, for one thing, because of the sound of the music, because yes, they're using trap music here, because why not? You know, trap music is big. So they moved the location from Harlem to Atlanta, right? So
Right. Which makes sense.
Yeah, which makes sense, because yeah, I mean, like I said, trap scene is big, and it actually works perfectly with this movie here, right? I'll say that much. So the guy who's playing him is Trevor Jackson. He is an actor, singer, performer. Not too familiar with his work though, but I don't know. Maybe it's the hair that he have, but I was getting a kind of Weekend look from him. Well, I mean, he doesn't have his hair like Weekend.
Yeah, a little bit.
His hair is slicked down like how Priest was in the movie, but
It's a perm, yeah.
it's more of a perm, right? But there is a few shots, swear to God, where I swear I was watching the intro for the the Starboy video. You know, him
So-
in the car going into
Yeah.
the mansion, that kind of stuff. The way how the mansion look, how it's like early morning. Like I was like, this is from the Weekend, like what the hell, you know what I mean? But it works
You
as
get the
well. I
feeling
love
that
that.
you get the feeling they wanted to cast the Weekend for it,
I
right?
know, right? And I don't know. I don't know if the Weekend would have worked, but I'll talk about that in terms of his character. Well, I guess I should jump into it, because this was a slight criticism that I had with the movie, but while I was watching it, I kind of understood where he was getting at, right? So the old Priest, right, the one from the first Superfly movie, Ron O'Neal, he was kind of laid back too, but he was stern when he needed to be. You know what I mean? He was always cautious, right? And he was the type of person that if you crossed him the wrong way, he wouldn't flip out. He wouldn't do like a Tony Montana and just flip out. But like you had to push him just a little bit and a little bit more for him to just be like, nah, he just gonna kick your ass shit. That's how he is. But the way how
Right.
Trevor Jackson plays his character is that he's always cool, he's always calm. Now I was telling myself, so when this guy gonna lose his shit, boy, and then later on in the film is like, oh, now he loses his shit. Okay, so that was just my one little gripe with his character. I felt that he was a little too smooth and a little too calm with everything. Not unrealistically calm, but just like, alright, I just gonna talk this kind of suave way, and I just look like I just chill with everything. It don't really matter what's going on in my life. I just chill, you know what I mean? But like I said before, he does lose his shit eventually, and it works, because it's almost like you think this guy will always be level-headed, and that's the thing about this character, that like he's always level-headed, he's always aware of what's going on, he's always thinking, he's always contemplating. But yeah, there are moments where it's like he would lose his shit, and that's just when you just push him that far over the edge. So the story pretty much is like a loose remake of the original. So yes, it involves Priest. He is a drug dealer. People know who he is. He could go into a club and be like, hey, Priest, what's up, man? All that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
His mentor / connect is Scatter, just like in the last film. But unlike the old film where he was a chef, haha, chef because he cutting up drugs, haha. That was like a little joke that I guess Raekwon used, and
Right.
that's why he calls Raekwon the chef now. You know what I mean? Maybe like as a
Yeah.
as
I
a
got all of
reference
that.
to Scatter. But in this case, he is played by we boy Dread Omar Little himself, Michael Kenneth Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what they
Right.
do here quite creatively because in the old film, because it's the 70s and you have to have a karate scene because yeah, it's karate, right? So you have like this little training sequence where Priest was fighting with this guy now, with his sensei basically, right? So in the movie here, in this remake here, um, Scatter, yes, is the connect. He is the drug dealer. He is Priest's mentor, but he also teaches a martial arts school. So there's a nice little moment where they're talking and then they have like this sparring session. I love the way how it was cut, how it was edited and stuff. But I love how they merged those two characters, basically the sensei from the last film and Scatter, together to form this new Scatter. That was cool. So basically the plan is while
Right.
he's talking to his friend Eddie, well another character from the old movie, who is played by we boy Jason Mitchell, aka Easy E from Straight Outta
Right.
Compton,
Yeah.
the one that
Yeah.
we were hoping would get an Oscar now, but he didn't. But whatever. And he was also in one of your favorite movies of last year, Mudbound.
Yeah.
Right. So he plays Eddie. Right. He's the second in command to Priest. He's like Priest's trusted friend. All that kind of stuff. And just like in the last film, in the old film, sorry, he pitches this idea like, yeah, we had to get out of this game, Dread. But how it spins out in this version here is that they pretty much run afoul of this gang. They call themselves Snow Patrol, so their gimmick is that they just wear all white. I know it sounds ridiculous, but when you see them, they look real badass.
Right.
But
I
it's
saw
just,
that in the trailer. I was like, okay.
I know it looked real
okay.
goofy. Like the first time you see like they all dressed in white, like look at us, man, But I like the leader of the group, this fat fella. I forgot his name, but and one of the members of the group, he is a new rapper on the scene right now. His name is Who KR. So I'm not too sure what KR means, but I'm assuming that's his name. But basically, just like in these hood gang movies, you always have that wild upstart, the one who wants to reach on top fast, the one who will shoot first, ask questions later, the one who always on edge. So he's like the G Money in the snow patrol group now. And him
Right.
and Priest kind of get into the squabble. Somebody gets shot in the process, and that kind of shakes up Priest now. He's like, well, dude, if we stay in this business, the police can eventually come and arrest us. Like, yes, we're making money, and we could have parties, and we could go into strip clubs, and just be throwing out cash like it's nothing. Cause yeah, the Snow Patrol does that. They in the balcony, and they just throwing out cash like it's nothing. That's the life they live, right? That's what they present in the movie. So yeah, he's talking with Eddie, and he's like, here's what, Jay, we had a bust out, Chet. Eddie, of course, just like in the old film, is like,
Right.
dude, what the fuck you talking about, Trent? This is your life, Trent. What else you want me to do? Go back and work in some menial job? Like, this is the life, dog, what happened? But it's like, no. I could get shot. People who know me could get killed. Cause he's thinking long term. This is like, here's what, we're going to do this big score. We're going to get these drugs. We're going to sell it, get these keys, basically. Sell it, make a lot of money, and we just retire. That's it. So, like in the first film, he goes to the Connect first. It's like, well, do you have X amount of drugs for me to sell? Scatter's like, no, you don't really trust this. You don't really like the idea anyway. And then later on, well, because because Priest is so ambitious, he's all like, well, I gonna find out who your Connect is. And then we find this Mexican drug dealer who's played by S.A. Morales. Yeah, he was from, shows like NYPD Blue, La Bamba, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And he does go into like the bigger heads now. So he does the job, but then later on, a call was made basically, like an order was made to hit like this drive-by basically on the Snow Patrol. And in the process, one of the members got killed. So the guy who pulled off the hit was Fat Freddy. He's a famous character from the old Superfly film. And yes, there's a song called Freddy's Dead because yes, he dies, right? Although in the old film, slight spoiler alert, he gets bounced on by a car, and that was after he was interrogated by the cops.
I'm not studying the Freddy's Dead track. That's where they parody Kenny's Dead. from South Park?
I think so, you know. I'm not too sure, but
That's where
probably.
South Park got that from?
You know,
Okay.
I'm not too sure. Maybe, yeah. So, yeah. So, Freddy pulls off the hit. Of course, Priest said no, and it's like, well, slight spoiler. Eddie was the one who made the order. And it's like, oh shit. So he started losing shit and whatnot, and now it just becomes more and more imperative for him to get this job done, get the money, sell the drugs, and get out of here. And I'll stop right there, right? So,
Okay.
I'll actually confess something here. So going into this movie, I knew what to expect. Okay, so I'll confess. When the trailer came out, the first trailer fit, I was like, why are they remaking Superfly? This looks like bullshit. I don't want to see it.
Right.
And then
Right.
I actually looked at
Yeah,
it
me
and I
too.
was like,
No, okay, so I had a problem with it in the sense of, again, for the culture, I was a little bit stuck with like, we already kind of trying to do stuff like Black Panther and a more catered to a more Afrofuturist, progressive kind of outlook. So to come with this is like, well, even if it's well made, it's still drugs and,
yeah,
that imagery.
it's that
I
gangster
wasn't
life. Yeah.
that bullshit, and I wasn't feeling it, but I was like, but I didn't, and I had other things I wanted to see more over this, and it really looked bad. So I was like, all right, well, I didn't care for it, but I had to give it a chance anyway, eventually.
Yeah.
But you say you saw it, so I was like, all right, well, you do that.
Right. So I went to an early show for this. I actually went yesterday at the time it's recorded to see it, right? And I swear to God,
Yeah.
it was just me and one other person.
Wow. Yeah.
Even
Nobody
if
give
it
a
is
shit.
an early show. Because last year I went to see 50 Shades Darker, and that was an early show. And there was more people there than with this movie.
Right.
I went to see an early show
Wow.
of Beauty and the Beast last year. There were more people there than for this one.
And this isn't Trinity, right?
Yeah, it's in Tricity, yeah. So I was
Yeah,
like,
for
all
me,
right,
I remember
all right,
seeing a
okay.
couple films like Nightcrawler and Nightcrawler, stuff like Nightcrawler, stuff like Gone Girl, and I think that was it. Had a relatively small crowd anyway.
Yeah, when I went
so
to
it's
see
not like-
Gone Girl, it was small, but not 2 people though.
Yeah, and that was a little extreme.
Yeah, it was more like 8 people I think it was, but anyway, moving along. Right, so I tell myself, okay, clearly this show is not gonna last more than a week. Maybe, but and in my head I asked myself, I wonder why people would not go and see this movie. For one thing, I was wondering if it's the title, maybe the whole Superfly thing, those sound, well, clearly it doesn't sound as hip as it did back in 1972. I mean, obviously it doesn't. But I don't know, like I just can't think of any other way to name this off of some particular slang or whatever it is. Like you can't call this show lit
Right.
or whatever it is. Like it would just sound retarded, right? Also too,
Yeah.
maybe it's because of the lack of, say, a well-known lead. You know what I mean? Because Trevor Jackson is the lead, and I like honestly, this is the first time I've ever seen this guy in anything, right? Also, and I was just thinking a little bit deeper, and I'll talk about this later on. What's being represented here? For one thing, this whole the
Right.
the gangster image, the whole rap thing that people don't like, because yes, I as a true hip hop head, I can't help but observe that people will more gravitate to the radio stuff, the God's Plan, the Drake's, that kind of stuff, the Nicki Minaj kind
Right.
of stuff, right? But when it comes to like stuff
well,
like
what
Future,
happens that-
where it gets more explicit and
Right.
more edgy and R-rated, or like, no, we just avoid this kind of music. We don't like this representation and all that kind of stuff, I'm not even talking about just representation of black people, but just being rich now. It's all about it's about bitches and hoes and weed and all that kind of stuff. Like, so people just kind of veer away from those things now, But because I am
Right.
well versed into these things, I'm not saying that I love trap music altogether, or I'm a huge fan of Future. I'm far from a fan of Future anyway. I knew what I was getting myself
Right.
into, But yeah, you're saying?
No, yeah. As I said, the timing I just throwing everybody off, because another thing too is that it's have a big wave of, I don't know what to call it, but I call it nicecore, where it's
Nicecore.
where it's just a bunch of people. That's it. I think that's actual need for it, which is it's people just not feeling negativity nowadays or anything like that.
Yeah.
You see it in common waves. Back in the 70s and the 60s or late 60s, you had essentially the moral majority, where people just want to sanitize television. They don't want negative shit. So I was like, well, it don't make sense trying to jump into this with this hardcore badassery. Either you go existential like something like Atlanta, or
yes.
you Yeah, or you go nice score, but just doing a straightforward drug story. Nobody want to see that shit.
Yeah.
And that's why I was worried about it now. Like, if I was some big Hollywood exec, I'd be like, yeah, this is going to fail.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I wouldn't have greenlight this project, frankly.
Right.
And I really thought it would have gotten a lot of hype, because when you mentioned Weekend, I was like, oh, okay, now this making a lot more sense in my head. Of then probably being casted of it now. You know, it being a new belly in that sense now. I'm pretty sure that Weekend name had to be on our shortlist somewhere for this.
How to be?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Just the way how Trevor Jackson looked. Like, the man look almost like Future though. I'm just saying, he just does, right?
Right. So you get a feeling that he was like they couldn't get Future, but they decided to go.
Oh, sorry.
My
bad. Weekend.
Not Future. Weekend.
Yeah.
Weekend. Yeah. Sorry.
Who wants to see Future act? Sorry. But
But I'd say I suspect Weekend is a terrible actor. That's why they probably couldn't go through with him either. Or I don't know. But the point you make is really quite good.
Yeah. And then also for a critical perspective, like I say, the stereotypes, you know. Do we want to see the gangster image? You know, this is not New Jack City anymore. This has been played out for years. Like, come on, let's not do the same thing.
But yes, yeah.
So, like I said, went and knew what to expect, and shockingly enough, I actually kind of like the show. Now, in no way am I saying this movie is great. It is not. It is shallow, it's basic, it's to the point. It doesn't do anything amazing, it doesn't reinvent the wheel. But as far as what it set out to do, what it was supposed to do, it worked for the most part, right? Now, for one thing I love about the film.
Right, it's service purpose.
Yeah, it's service purpose. For one thing, it did not rely too much on referencing the old film. It wanted to be its own thing. Yes, you have the title, and you know, there is, I think it called it twice actually, where Priest himself uses the term SuperFly. But he got that term from Scatter, which makes sense because Scatter's an OG, so it's like, all right, you know, you understand where you're coming from there. Even right down to the use of the music, you know. Like, you do hear the theme song, SuperFly, you do hear Pusher Man in a montage scene, which was like a great version of the photo montage scene that they did in the old film. So they spin it in a way where you heard the song, but it's more like this montage of, oh, this is how we move the drugs, and we go into here and there, and this is where we sneaking the drugs and all that kind of stuff. So same thing like in the old film, but just in a visual perspective, right? And I could swear that in one piece of music, I was hearing like little bits of Little Child Running Wild, like kind of interwoven in the music. I could be wrong, but I was hearing little bits of it there. This is the moment where Priest was talking to Eddie when they were driving. He was talking about, yo, we have to do this plan. Like, you know, we got to get out of the game, that kind of stuff. I thought that Jason Mitchell was decent as Eddie as well. He does play the Eddie character well, where it's more like, you know, he is a hustler as well, and he wants to stay in the game because he kind of know that there's nothing else out there for him, you know what I mean? So it works. I like how he played that character. Lex Scott Davis, who plays Georgia, she was okay. I felt that she could have been given a little bit more to do though. Same thing like in the old film, she was just like the Shaft character. You know, it's like no one understands him but his woman. You know, she's the woman that supports Priest in everything that he does, even if it's like, yeah, well, we gotta go and shoot this man because that's how he'll be free. You know what I mean? So like in the old film, it kind of worked, but here's like, all right, you should be kind of self-aware. It's a dumb reference point. All right, like, the man is a drug dealer. You know what he does, but you're like, but he's my man and all that kind of stuff there. And they had this subplot with her working for this, the mayor of Atlanta. Well, this guy going up for mayor, who is played by Big Boy of Outkast. And I felt that they underplayed this. I know, right? Okay. I know, right? Yeah. Like, yes, I know.
So the more you talk about this and being referenced Atlanta, it making me think of T.I.'s film that he had some years back.
Which I was gonna get into because in ATL, Big Boy was playing a dope boy. He's playing a hustler, a drug dealer basically. So he was like the connect basically there. And I felt that he was more believable there in ATL than he was as this mayor though. Like, I would say performance wise, I mean, Big Boy can act. He can act. He and Andre 3000 can act. I know a lot of people haven't seen this movie, but I personally actually enjoy Idlewild. Like, it's not a great movie, don't get me wrong.
I remember that being okay. And he didn't he have a movie with didn't he have a movie with Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks.
Andrew 3000. Andrew 3000 was in a movie with Tom Hanks. I swear that's a thing.
I know he was in Four Brothers. That was that one show
And
that
that's
everybody. That was with Mark
Hanks.
Wahlberg and some other people. I know that was a show that everybody was loving,
Okay.
and I was like, yeah, it was alright. I didn't really like Four Brothers that much. It was alright.
Okay.
But yeah,
It's probably Four Brothers. It's probably Four Brothers I'm talking about.
yeah. But I know Andre was in another movie. He was playing Jimi Hendrix. I forgot the name of that show.
Right.
Yeah.
That sucked. Yeah, that wasn't so
Yeah,
good.
so I heard it, right? So yeah, I felt that Big Boy was more. I mean, he acting wise he was okay, but because he was hardly in the film, they could have worked his character in a little bit
Right.
more. But he's more played for comedic relief now. Like,
Right.
pieces more like, well, if you do this for me, I can help you out. I can make you win. That kind of stuff.
Blah, 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 right.
Blah blah blah. Like I said before, I was looking out for a future cameo. He wasn't there. Zaytoven was there. He is a hip hop producer. He is in the whole trap movement right now. So and yes, he has produced music for Future and Migos and Uzi Vert to those guys, right? But guess who makes a cameo, boy? Of all people, Ross. Yes, Ricky Ross
Who?
himself. Rick Ross makes a cameo.
Oh, Rick
in
Ross,
this
really?
show.
Wow.
I was like, hey, look, Slim Ross, man.
Right, okay, I swear. Oh, you're right. Okay, so you're okay. So I knew I saw him in the trailer. So okay, he really is in this then. 'Cause I knew I saw someone who looked like Rick Ross in the trailer.
Yeah.
But you're right. Okay, so
Yeah.
that verifies that then.
And yes, they underplay him too, but I'll let us slide because I understand it's a cameo, right? And he is like this
Right.
this full coat with wearing drug dealers. He talking with them, and you're almost like
wow.
he like stunting there. You know what I mean? He just real showing off that. And for the 2-3 minutes that he was there, I thought he was decent. He was decent, But it was just kind of funny to see him in it. The guy, the Who KR guy, right? The rapper that I mentioned before, who plays the upstart from the Snow Patrol. He is. I don't want to say his character is cliche, but I mean actor wise he did it well enough. But once again, it falls into that same trap of shoot first, ask questions later. After the whole drive-by thing, he's all pissed off. He's all like, let me find this motherfucker, let me shoot him, all that kind of stuff. He's shouting at people, that kind of stuff. That he does that a lot.
Yeah.
So it's almost to the point where he comes off like this caricature, like, I'm the tough guy with the kind of 21 Savage kind of cross on the forehead, So yeah, that's a trait of him. I think other members of Snow Patrol have that cross on their forehead now, you know what I mean? But he's like the just tough guy, so he's tough for the sake of being tough now. But I thought that character-wise, it wasn't really all that, but performance-wise, he was good. As far as the story goes, and this is where, some people might get pissed off by it, mightn't like it that much. It is your standard, basic, hip-hop, gangster, flashiness kind of movie. For one thing, visually, this thing looks gorgeous, though. Like, I was looking at the credits, and they shot it with Arri cameras now. And just the visuals that they get for this show, gorgeous. You could tell that Director X have this director. He have a director's eye, clearly. The way how he frames shot, the way the colors, just a lot of, especially like in the night scenes and a lot of neon lights and stuff. You tell this man has an eye for color and flair and whatnot. So yes, visually this shit looks very, very good, right? Music. The trap music works though. It adds this sudden feel to the movie. You hear a couple of songs from Future. It's new songs, so I didn't hear anything like, I didn't hear any mask on or anything like that from it.
Stick Talk
or anything like that.
Yeah, Stick Talk.
Yeah, these are all new songs for the movie. They didn't really stand out as much as they did, as much as all that, but it's every bit, trap music there. I love that. I love how they set up just the world of Atlanta, that nightlife, the club life, just the lives that they live in, being able to go into a strip club and throw out money. I mean, yes, it's shallow and basic and one note, but it's just so glamorous at the same time. It's like, I wish I was there. I mean, so that.
They do that well.
It glamorizes your life, and I know some people might be offended by this, once again, might criticize the movie for doing that. But once again, because I knew what I was getting into, I was like, all right, I don't mind. And this is where we're going to get to the main reason why I really enjoyed the show as much as I did, which is shocking, I know. Is because at the end of the day, it's blaxploitation. But what I would call it is more
Right.
neo blaxploitation. One example,
Right.
although I don't know how come people haven't picked up on it as yet. The Friday trilogy. That's like a
Right.
perfect example of blaxploitation, like new blaxploitation. Okay, you know, like those films, you know, just the humor, you know, the style of humor, you know, more targeted black audiences. It has this kind of Dolomite kind of feel to things, you know what I mean? You know, where it's like, oh, well, black people will get, but white people will be like, haha, okay, don't really understand why you have this fart or shit joke, or why you have these crass kind of vulgar jokes. But you know, it's catering to a particular audience, you know, and that's why the Friday trilogy is what it is, you know what I mean? And like this movie here, it fits within that whole neo blaxploitation vibe where it's like it's not a social message, it's not stopping and giving you this social criticism of hip hop and, you know, the life of a drug dealer and all that kind of stuff. It's glamorizing the life, yes, but it's entertainment. That's what it is. At the end of
Right.
the day, it's entertainment. It's not a social message, it's entertaining. You go in, you leave your brain at the door, you know, you just have your expectations low, you have a couple of beers, and you just watch, you know, gangsters and drug dealers and strippers and whatnot. I just enjoy it. And yes, story wise, it does go over the top at times. It's not as serious as it tries to be, and I guess as a point anyway, you know. So it's not a show that you could take too seriously anyway, because there are a few moments, none of which I'll spoil, where it's like the attempts to actually break free of being a drug dealer, like just the lengths that they will go to just escape the cops. It kind of borders on ridiculous though. Like they're going out of their way so bad just to avoid the cops though, you know, just to get away from that. It's kind of silly though. While in the
Right.
original film, it felt more realistic, it felt more grounded. Here's more like, well, if I have money, I could hire this man to do this and do that and do that, and I could escape, bam, end of story. So it's kind of ridiculous though.
Right.
Also, I felt the Mexican drug dealer, you know, subplot was ridiculous too, because it kind of bordered on cliche, you know, because, you know, if you see movies like Bad Boys too and all that kind of stuff, you know what to expect. You know, the evil Mexican guy who threatens people and, you know, threatens to torture them and say they'll murder their family. It's that kind of stuff. You get that here. It's cliche after cliche after cliche, right? But the way how it's done, where it does not take itself too seriously, and just because of the energy in it, because yes, there was actually no little to no moments where I found myself kind of like bored or watching my watch or like, you know, just tuning out now. It was just so energetic now, just
Right.
on point now. That yeah, you could just kind of rock back, drink a couple of beers, and just enjoy it. You know what I mean? And that is why, yes, ultimately I did enjoy the show. Like I said before, it's not a masterpiece. It's not some kind of big social message kind of movie. It's shallow, it's dumb, it's
Right.
silly. But because it does not rely on the source material to support it, like there are just like a few references to the movie, and you know, like I said, it's just this loose remake, and just the plot points now from the old film is more bare bones than anything else. But this movie here, this version,
Right.
is its own thing. It's its own beast, and I respect the director, the cast and crew for doing that instead of making this full remake of you know, of this blaxploitation movie. And in closing, once again, like I said, because it kind of embraces its blaxploitation roots, it does not have to go out of its way to be this kind of melodramatic film or be uber serious. It's just, this is the life, this is how it is, these are the characters,
Right.
this is what's going on. Yes, it's cliche. Yes, you have guys dressed in white, you know, shooting down people, whatnot, blah, 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 blah. But it's entertainment. Don't take it seriously, guys, all right? Whatever, right? And if you're going like that,
Yeah.
then you're going to enjoy it. Once you go in knowing what to expect, you're going to enjoy it. But if you're the type of people, and I know they are out there, who just don't like the negative aspects of rap and don't like, you know, sipping lean and smoking weed and bitches and strip clubs and all that kind of stuff, then you're not
Right.
going to like this movie at all.
Right.
But if you're into that kind of shallow stuff, and I know you really into like shallow music, hip hop, sorry, especially with Future, you just watch this thing with like a dumb grin on
Yeah.
your face, and you will just be like, "This is shallow as
Right.
fuck." But I
Okay, so
I
is
like
that
this.
is that my kind of trash?
Yeah, it's my
Is that-
it's my kind of trash.
Is that my kind of trash? trash.
Basically, yeah. So for
Right.
me, this gets a very light 3 out of 5. This was alright for me, but yeah, I just wish that more people would actually go and check this show out. But I imagine many of them would just probably wait for it to come out on home media, and you know, if you really feel like it, buy it. I mean, just all the visuals alone, like I know this thing is gonna look stellar on Blu-ray. But if you just love, like, you know, trap music, like just modern day rap music, and you just don't mind watching a shallow remake of a classic blaxploitation film, then yeah, you can't go wrong with 2018 Superfly. So yeah, check it out if you want to. Yeah,
Alright, I'll give it a look-see.
Completely caught me by surprise, though, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna hate this movie. This movie is gonna suck. It's gonna be shallow. It's gonna be dumb. I'm gonna hate it. And I don't know, I just walk out of it like, yeah, I like the show. You know what I mean? It knows what it is. That's what I like about it. It knows what it is.
Right. It doesn't know
anything else. And yeah, not much more I could say. So it was either this show or Ocean's 8 that I was gonna check out.
Right.
And I flipped the coin and I said, you know what, I'm gonna take in Superfly, because why not, right? But you took in Ocean's 8, so
yes.
feel free to let me know how Ocean's 8 went for you. But before we get into that, you can kind of talk about the trilogy itself, which I would say I'm not the biggest fan of. Like,
right, I'm a bit of a sucker for Soderbergh films in general. Once you do that heist
with
aesthetic.
well, your favorite movie of last year was a Soderbergh movie, right? Logan Lucky.
Well, second favorite, yeah.
No, it was
high,
your
not
number one.
my favorite.
No, sorry, your second was Logan Lucky. Your first was Mother. I forgot. Sorry, right.
Mother, right. Yeah. But for me, I'm a big sucker for the Soderbergh type films. You know, when you're doing these heist films, they make it work. And admittedly, the Ocean's franchise was basically just George Clooney and his buddies, you know, on vacation, and they get you to pay them to watch them on vacation.
Yes.
You know, this generally 10 part where you have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
you make it work.
They are genuinely fun movies. Don't get me wrong. Genuinely fun.
And I remember really enjoying 11, having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, 11 was great. I think I would argue it is the best of the three.
Yeah. Had a lot of fun with. Had a lot of. I had fun with 12, but yeah, 12 kind of sucked.
I like 12. I like 12. I know some people don't like the laser. You know that scene with the guy who was
the capoeira. The capoeira thing.
I find it's silly, but I like it. I like it.
Right. Then 13 came out. I thought 13 was solid, and it kind of ended the trilogy. They had no more. Basically, it's just this. You know, George Clooney and buddies end up just being the modern Rat Pack essentially.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. Yeah, just accept that. If you're into that, you're into that. If you're not into it, then you'll just hate these movies because they just come across as, well, I just watching George Clooney and friends on vacation. And that's pretty much it. But it's reasonably very entertaining, well crafted movies to a certain extent.
Yes, definitely. And well shot as well, and well scored actually. Right. I love the scores for this.
Right. I never had a big problem with these movies from that stance, and then we moved on from that. It's up to you whether or not, as I say, it's up to you if you're into that stuff. And then we already had those films until Logan Lucky again. Very, very few these heist type films where you have a big score and a big plan, and they shoot it in such a way to make you understand the visual language of the plan, and then at the end they'll have a nice little prestige moment and switch it up on you nice, and you enjoy that. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. It's up to you if you enjoy that, right?
Right.
And again, Logan Lucky did it really, really well. And pretty much that's what we kind of got from this in this new film. I'll put it like this: it's Ghostbusters all over again.
Oh, that's what it feels. A remake of the
remake, but not as didn't feel any crash grabby or anything like that. And it has made basically the female version of it, but it worked for the most part. I don't have any major issues. I'm fun with this one. Not as good as 13 or 11, but better than 12.
That's
it has made it work. Like, right, which is not an insult necessarily. It's like much like good Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2016 was about as good as Ghostbusters 2 in my opinion.
Which is a lot neither, you know what I mean? But yeah,
right. Not bad, but it had problems, and you could do what you want with it in that sense.
Right. So what is Ocean's 8 about?
Right, so basically it's Debbie Ocean, played by Sandra Bullock. She basically is the sister of Danny Ocean.
All right.
And she went to prison 5 years prior. She went to prison 5 years prior for something. It's revealed in the movie. And then she, to make up for it, she has a score. She was planning a score for years.
Right.
So Kate, Hella herself now.
Helen Mirren.
No, Helen Mirren. Hella, who play Hella from Ragnarok.
McGill, Kate Blanchett, best actress ever.
Kate Blanchett, right. Kate Blanchett is she right, so Kate Blanchett is she second in command. She dies the Brad Pitt of the story. They have a plan together and they basically need to get the best of the best to solve this problem of basically to steal this famous necklace which worth this insane amount of money. Right, it's like $150 million or something insane like that.
Right, and that's what Anne Hathaway has around her neck, right?
Right, and Anne Hathaway is this actress, this famous actress, and Anne Hathaway is basically playing herself, but an exaggerated version of herself.
Right.
And that's pretty much it. It's just they had to get Mindy Kaling to come in to do the diamond stuff. They get Rihanna to play a hacker. They get this, I don't know the Asian girl name.
Her name is Aquafina. Like she's this new like female rapper in the scene. Haven't heard any of her stuff.
Right.
Though. Right.
McGill,
Sarah Paulson in it too as well. You know.
Right. Sarah Paulson in it, playing a side character, playing kind of the straight girl in a way, and Dan, who else, boy? Who else?
Helena Bonham Carter's there.
Helena Bonham Carter playing the right. She was the fashion person, because she had to dress the girl now. That was part of the plot.
Right.
She was this fashion icon back in the days who kind of fallen on hard times, and they recruit her. And yeah, it was charming. It worked for the most part. I didn't love it because some of the writing felt a little lazy in my opinion. But much like with the Oceans franchise, it wasn't the most brilliant idea. But everything was just held up by the charisma of these characters and the chemistry with each other. And it worked.
Right. So just like with the last films, like just like with the trilogy story, it's just one of those shows you can just kind of kick back, relax, and enjoy. You know, you don't think about it too much.
No, not too much. It's still relatively smart because you'll enjoy the twist when they reveal what it is, what the big twist was at the end. It's actually pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Debbie Ocean is a pretty good character. They make it work. Why she just like the brother, she's really conniving and clever in her own way. They do something with Danny Ocean's character, which was kind of not a big twist, but it catch me off guard. And I thought they was going to do something, but they just never play it up at all.
Right.
Involving that character, they just never do anything with it. So that was a slight disappointment. But whatever, that in itself would have been cliched, I suppose.
Right.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought they would have done more with this. They could have done more with this, but then they decided to have a twist. They have a big extra plot thing involving a character, and then they bring in this fella at the end, which I thought was pretty funny, and he was pretty funny in it. That was this famous host now, British fella, I forget his name.
Not James Corden.
James Corden, thank you.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. He's like one of the most popular people I don't follow at all.
I know, right? I know, boy.
You know? Right.
You always see videos, you know the reactions in the cars or whatever it is called, right. But I don't watch his stuff though.
I couldn't give less of a shit, but he was pretty funny in this and pretty charming.
Yeah.
And then he's this insurance fraud guy to piece together what the hell going on now. And he is related to Danny Ocean and the father, and they connect. Basically, you know that Debbie Ocean was in on it, but you don't know how. So you're trying to piece it together, and then they make it work. And then, well, the big twist, I don't want to sell it all, but the big twist involving how basically it's them getting much more money than the score initially puts forward.
Right.
And basically that's pretty much it. It's just them just score, they pull it off, and they make it work. No major conflicts or twists necessarily. They just make it happen. Very, very little goes on. I think that's probably the biggest gripe with the film for me. Is that it had no major way they fuck up here or they messed up here. It went relatively smoothly for the most part. It had one part I thought they would have make it work. The big character who steals the show, I'll say, is probably Anne Hathaway. She's very, very good in this. But she's pretty much good in everything, and you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Well, Helena Bonham Carter is quite good because they make a double joke with her little deep cut by saying, well, Anne Hathaway makes a joke saying, I know bad acting when I see it. So that was funny how they do double play that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a solid script. Art-wise, it wasn't particularly well shot in my opinion. I think some of the directing was kind of poor. It's clearly not Soderbergh, and it not even. I'll say that the weakest part of the film, the directing. It really feels like Cargo called Soderbergh. Like it really missed the point of how Soderbergh just do the shots and make it work. It really rip off Soderbergh in all the wrong ways. And that's about it though. But the actual script itself, I think they could have planned it out a little better, because yes, it's kind of clever, but not too clever. So those are the two weak points of the film. But if you care about that, then you'll dismiss the thing. It's all about the charisma, the character, and the characters. And yeah, the charisma, the chemistry of the characters really work for the most part.
Right. Before you get to Rita, what about the supporting cast? Rihanna, Aquafina.
No, everybody is fine. Everybody's fine. All of them do the thing. Rihanna's quite good because she has a little quick side plot involving her sister, which I really liked. The sister makes a cameo, so it's quite possible the sister could grow up and come in the sequel to this. The sister was great. I thought the little she was in, I was like, oh, who's this little girl? She's pretty cool. Aquafina was kind of interesting because she's like a real millennial type kind of person there.
Right.
And they make it work in terms of her being really poor, and because her whole shtick is that she's a real fast hands pickpocket. Yeah. And because so she does a lot in that. She's actually quite instrumental in it. Mindy Kaling, I thought they could have done more with her, but she's kind of cool because she's the jeweler type who had to piece together and basically forge the diamonds and pick out the diamonds and make it work. Right. And that's pretty much it. The plot plays itself out quite good. That's it. That's a fun movie. I give this one a low movie tongue. Right? Nothing bad, fair enough. Yeah. But not good either. Nothing to talk about anyway. Just go see it. You should go see it. It's fun. Didn't hate it. Again, it's Ghostbusters 2016 all over again. Could have been better. They could have made some of these scenes breathe a little better. But it was reasonably well done. I didn't hate this at all.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll give it a look. I wouldn't think that it would be a waste of time anyway. I mean, why not, right?
So, no. I really thought, because I was expecting it to be a real waste of my time, and I thought it would suck, but nah, it was solid. I didn't have any major problems with this one.
Right. Last but certainly not least, now we have to talk about that sequel, the sequel that we waited 14 years for. The Incredibles 2. Or Incredibles 2 as they call it in the, as they call it. It's not The Incredibles anymore. Brief little history about The Incredibles, right? When it came out in 2004, I was excited to see it. I saw it. I was blown away by it. It took me a while to really, really, really love it though. But the first time I saw it, I was very impressed by it. But then the more I saw it, I was like, that's what I started to appreciate it. I was like, and easily to this day, it remains probably one of, if not the best or one of my top favorite, I should say, Disney Pixar movie I've ever seen.
It instantly became my favorite Pixar film. And it was surprisingly dark for a cartoon for a Pixar film as well.
It was.
And that's what catch me off guard with a lot. Yeah.
Just a couple more things about the movie. Looking at it again, in 2018, this movie still stands out. For one thing, the voice acting. That is probably one of the strongest points of this show. The voice acting is perfect. It sounds so real. Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, Jason Lee, who plays the excellent villain, Syndrome. Love this villain. Probably one of the best super villains ever. Samuel Jackson. I mean, everybody just delivers here. The music from Michael Giacchino. Love it. It harkens back to 60s spy films, particularly Sean Connery, James Bond movies. I could tell he's inspired by that, especially with those horns that.
That aesthetic.
It's there. The 60s aesthetic of it, because believe it or not, it took me a few watches to realize, oh, this is not in modern times. They actually make it to look like it's from the 60s. Haha! Wow, look at that. And the storytelling itself, which, like I said, it does get dark at certain points. When characters go through a lot of trials and tribulations. What I also love too is the character growth, the arcs of a majority of these characters, particularly the husband and wife. Mr. Fantastic and Elastigirl. I love that. Really, one thing that amuses me about this show too is the dialogue, boy. It feels literally like you are watching a live action movie play out, but it's just with 3D animated characters. But the dialogue just feels so real, you know what I mean? And that's one thing that I give credit to Brad Bird for, where it's yes, it's a family movie, kids will watch it, some things will fly over their heads, but it's not to the point you're treating them as dumb. It's just I'm telling this essentially mature story, but mature in a way that adults would see it and understand it, and kids would see it and pick up on certain things. But when they get older, they'll be like, "Oh, now I see what's going on here." Now that just adds an extra layer to their enjoyment of the movie. So yeah, I just love the first Incredibles movie here. And 14 years later, well, I mean, we just the way how the first one ended, with the Underminer, you were like, holy shit, we need to see a part 2. I mean, if we could get Toy Story 2, if we could get a Cars 2, well, I think Cars 2 came out after Cars 2 came out after Incredibles. So he was like, well, why we getting Cars 2? Well, I'm thinking Incredibles 2. Why we getting Incredibles 2? Brad Bird, stretched his wings. He did, more live action stuff. He worked on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which was still one of the best Mission Impossible movies ever made. But then
I don't like it all that much, however.
I wish I saw it in IMAX. That's just for one gripe. I wish I saw this movie in IMAX, but I didn't. But then, he make a gamble with this movie, and it bombed at the box office. Unfortunately, I still to this day have not seen it, even though I heard it was not as bad as all that. Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
you saw it, right? Or was it good? Or is it
I saw Tomorrowland. I saw it on cable.
It's one of those noble failures, or it's just like that? Yeah,
right. It's a noble failure.
Okay. Because I don't think he would have gone out of his way to make a terrible movie. I just think maybe something went wrong with the story and balls were dropped and it just didn't work out. That's my assumption.
Right.
So yeah, he just went back now, and while like also here with this movie here, Incredibles 2, is that he took his time, in terms of just fleshing out the story and whatnot, and then also, and this is one of the biggest...
Well, we go talk about that take your time thing, eh?
Yeah, we will. And then one of the biggest strong points of this movie here is the animation, because the animation has stepped up since the first movie came out in 2004. But yeah, all that aside though, Ricardo, you want to just let us know what Incredibles 2 is about?
Yes, so basically it follows immediately after the events of the first film. Basically what happens is that, well, it's revealed now that the supers exist in the world once again. So, who's Bob Odenkirk now? I forget his character's name.
Bob Odenkirk's character, he plays Winston Never. He is telecommunications company owner. And he's a huge fan of the supers. Right. His
dad was a big proponent of the supers back in the days. And what happened is that he basically contacts Frozone. And he contacts Frozone, and then Frozone goes to contact the Incredibles to say, hey, look, this guy is offering an opportunity. And basically the implication is that, well, you can make being supers legal once again. That's the running argument. And so it's like, all right, cool. And what happened now is that, but instead of Mr. Fantastic, I was going to say Mr. Incredible from the company, but they wanted Elastigirl to be the base instead. Yes. And they gave us that money, they moved to a new house, because they really thought they had to move being exposed once again from the first film. You learn how people's memories are being wiped because Violet's boyfriend sees her as, Violet, right?
Yeah,
as a super.
In the outfit.
He didn't know that.
Right.
In the outfit as well, but you don't know she was a super. So you see how their memories are wiped with this weird plunger device, which is funny.
Because it's very cartoonish.
Into the film.
Yeah. Old school cartoon.
It's such a 60s. It's such a 60s thing there.
Yes.
That's how that works. It's so weird. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they moved to the new house. Basically, well, Bob has to take care of the kids, and he's really stressed out. But they have a lot of great scenes with this going forward. And then, well, let's have some shenanigans going on with a villain. I forget the villain. It was with his
Screenslaver.
Screenslaver, yes, right. So basically, this person could hypnotize and control people.
Yeah, and through using
uses
TV
to control
signals, basically. Yeah, using TV signals. Right. Yeah.
Right. And we get to see all of that going on, and then basically you have to solve this mystery involving that.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Who is Screenslaver, right? Yeah.
Screenslaver, who's not. And I was kind of disappointed in this. This is a very well made bad sequel, in my opinion.
I would call it bad, but I do agree with you. It's kind of a letdown. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just share your thoughts on the movie, and then I'll jump in and we'll do ratings, right? So,
right. I was in the camp. Because the one big only plot point I was genuinely interested in that was left off at the end of Incredibles because Incredibles wrapped up its arc perfectly, in my opinion. But it had one little plot point that had a big impact for the potential future of the Incredibles franchise if it would have a sequel, and that was the baby, Jack Jack.
Yes, Jack Jack. And also very interesting too. Sorry, just stop you there. Is that the family? The family themselves didn't even know that Jack Jack had powers. The only person who saw his powers manifest was Syndrome.
Was the babysitter,
and that was pretty interesting actually.
Was babysitter?
Yeah, and the babysitter. Actually. Yeah,
babysitter.
So now in this movie here, basically, is like the family now realizing, or more the father, Mr. Incredible, now realizing, holy shit, my kid has powers. And how much powers does he have? It's just always increasing, though. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right, and the thing with Jack Jack now, you saw in the Incredibles there was a short, in the original DVD for the Incredibles, it had a short showing Jack Jack, all the powers Jack Jack had,
or at least
as many as you can.
I haven't seen that in ages.
This is what the babysitter.
Yeah.
Right, this is what the babysitter was referencing. This is what all the stuff the babysitter was going through now.
Yeah, it's like a scene before they come back home.
In this film. But this was going on while the babysitter was trying to call Mrs. Incredible about something weird with this baby now, because she didn't know. Remember, they don't not supposed to know supers exist, right? And so I thought, all right, they're going to build on that. And I really thought we would have gotten an actual time skip of 14 years so we get to see Jack Jack when he's Violet stage and what that means for Jack Jack being so powerful. If you think about it, Jack Jack is basically the Franklin Richards of this universe, right? If you know who Franklin Richards is, basically Sue Storm and
Reed Richards' son.
Reed Richards' child, right? Yeah. Right, and he's supposed to be this all-powerful character, right? I thought we would have gotten that, and they could have built on that, but nope, they just decided to do this sequel that kind of uninspired, and that is the main problem. It's genuinely interesting to see this stuff from Helen Parr's perspective. All right, maybe, but that other idea so played out, and then they decide to make it Violet have an arc, and she quote unquote supposed to be going through menstruation. Apparently, that is the subtext, which again very played out and dated. Dash did not much to do. They gave Frozen more to do, and I really like some of his stuff. And then Bob going through his oppression, midlife crisis kind of thing, where you have nothing to do. He's not a hero anymore. And if you think about it, he have kind of the least useful powers in the grand scheme, right? Given all the amazing shit the other people could do, right?
Yeah. And they do mention that all he does is just punch, right? So. Yeah,
he does strong, but he's not that fast. He does strong, right? And it's not that interesting what they do with this. They could have done more. And then, the villain actually was telegraphed a mile away. It was even that interesting, like, why she was, kind of spoiling that, why this villain doing what they're doing. I didn't really care for this overall. They could have done more with this. And in my opinion, they should have just gone with the time skip and have Jack Jack as a teenager. I've been more interested in seeing that thing going forward now. My good is, I'll say, interactions were good. Like, the stuff with Etna Mode and Baby, I liked. That's genuinely funny and really good. It had good shit. But that's it. It's well made, good set pieces, but the story itself and the core message, it didn't have a core message or anything interesting going forward. I just fell flat for me. Sorry.
All right. So first off, the good, right? I'll just get the good out of the way.
Yeah.
Them visuals, but amongst the best that I've seen in Pixar thus far. So props to Bird for taking his time and waited, I guess you could bullshit it here, but basically waited for their technology, their software to, their animation skills, to just get more and more lifelike and realistic, because here, yes, we get some gorgeous, breathtaking visuals here, from start to end. There is one scene in particular where Elastigirl confronts Screenslaver, and basically it's like this dark room, so that she's searching.
That's a great scene.
Just the lighting in that scene alone, brilliant. But then is the actual encounter, slasher fight scene basically, where like the lights come on and it has this kind of like strobe effect kind of feel to it, and I was like, how visually it just looks so stunning, that's so unique. So yeah, visually it's superb, right? Great. 5 out of 5 for that one. The voice acting on point once again. Everybody delivers, after all these years. Holly Hunter and Craig T. Nelson still so great. I think they got somebody new to play Dash, but you wouldn't really know because they sound really similar. I guess Samuel Jackson, everybody works. Bob Odenkirk, though, even though I knew I was recognizing his voice, because there were moments where it's like, all right, I'm picking up on the Saul Goodman thing, but because I didn't really look at the cast list. I didn't even know it was him until the end. I was like, knew the voice. Same thing with Catherine Keener, actually. I didn't even pick up it was him. I was like, I know that voice from somewhere. You know what I mean? Dialogue still feels authentic, still feels real. You know, there's a few dialogue scenes that I swear was like lifted from some live action movie. You know what I mean? I know it just sounds so mature and real, but not too mature actually. There's a couple like just brief like how they describe it in the rating, like my language. So there's a dam and there's a hell thrown in there. I was like, all right, try to be a little ambitious there, Mr. Bird. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. The music from Michael Giacchino again sounds great. It does play a little too much on the horns, in my opinion, but you know, a little too much on the on the you know what I mean? A little too much, but I understand what it was getting at. You know, it was bigger, it was grander, so you know the music does sound a little bit more fun and over the top. So I didn't buy it at all. I thought the score was great as well. The action sequences, well handled. I love that train scene, so intense. I love that. The boat scene was decent. It didn't blow my away entirely, but that scene in particular was great. So the action sequences. No,
I forget when with the new supers when they came in.
All right, there was one called Void. I thought that the portals. She was like her skill set was great. I love that.
Yeah, but they use the powers intelligently. Like it had a kick-ass scene where Dash was trying to escape and the portal just form and just trap him immediately. No?
Yes.
I thought that was like really intelligent, like how smart and well as a machine they were fighting. And Frozone is such a veteran. He taken on all of them at once.
Yeah.
I thought that was a kick-ass action sequence actually.
Right.
Really flowed well and whatnot. It's just really a shame that they could have write a better story with it.
Yeah, which I'll get into. But as you mentioned, you know, powers and stuff. I love how it feels like the same with the original film. I love these scenarios where these characters are put in where they have to use their powers, in inventive, creative ways. You know, for one thing with Elastigirl and her scene on the motorbike trying to stop that train that was moving backwards. You know, just how she was able to use her powers. I thought was great. There's one little shot that with Violet though and her force field. Her and Dash and how they used that together as a duo, I thought was excellent. I was like, you know, just like an extension of her just figuring out, I can do this now, you know. I was like, wow, okay, stepping up your game. I love that, right? So the story itself, I get that they try to maintain the style of the original one where, yes, the first film, shockingly enough, was an hour and 50 minutes, right? It is quite long for a animated film, but well so, because there's a lot of things going on. But somehow I felt that there was some scenes that dragged on, some dialogue scenes in particular that dragged on. Like there's one in particular where Elastigirl was talking to Winston's sister Evelyn, and it was with this party basically with all these supers and stuff. Like I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to build a sense of realism, but it just dragged the scene along. I felt like, okay, you're just talking about stuff. You're talking. I understand what you're talking about. It's nice. It makes sense. It's thought-provoking, whatever. But come on, pick up the pace here, right? So yes, it does have some pacing issues. And arguably, you know, the last one, as long as it felt, didn't really have that much pacing issues though, because there was so much going on. You got a sense of the family dynamic. You got a sense of how work was for Mr. Incredible, how life was as a stay-at-home mom for Elastigirl, but they didn't spend too much time on it. Even right down to like the family dinner scene, which they recreate here in this one here. Felt a lot more cohesive in the last film than in this one here. This one just kind of dragged. It just felt like we just need another one of these argument scenes, and it just kind of ends in this awkward way where Dash is like, all right, I just go and watch some TV, Jen. You know what I mean? Like, it was just kind of awkward how it just kind of stops there, right? You know? But yeah, the story just needed more work. I just felt that the pacing could have been a lot better. Like I say, I know they're trying to reach that 1 hour 50 mark or whatever it is, but they could have just either taken stuff out or just added more, you know, impactful scenes, more scenes to make the movie run, you know, the story flow. Next thing, the villain.
Right.
Ah boy, a huge step down from Syndrome. You know, Syndrome was like a
Yeah.
perfect villain just in what they were set up. The hero worship, which kind of formed the basis of the old film, right? And just the idea of, hey, if everyone is super, then no one will be. That's a powerful like theme right there, though.
Yeah.
That is so
Idea, yeah,
incredibly
right.
thought provoking. Like holy shit, though. You know what I mean? But in this one, it's like,
Yeah.
now, yes, you are right. You saw the villain from a mile away, but it took in my head. I was like, it was either or, and that's like the biggest spoiler I could give. It's either or. Like visually, it's right there. It's right in front of your face. Visually, where the characters are framed. But I was like, they wouldn't do that. Nah. And then it's done. It's like, oh god, you're telegraphed it for me. Come on.
No, my main problem is that I have no problem if I know who the villain is, because I don't need to know the villain. Because in the first film, it was a big, nice surprise. I love that. You really forget about Buddy for a while, and then, oh shit, he comes back. That was great.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. I don't really mind that the villain was, you see it coming a mile away. My problem is the motivation behind the villain was terrible. Hated that.
Yeah,
really, that's the reasoning.
I would kind of argue a little bit, because I understand the emotional aspect of it. I get. But once again, it just kind of falls to the whole basic kind of, well, we have to make supers look bad because reason. A reason. There wasn't anything like, if this happens, what would be the big impetus, or what would be the real change? Like, with Syndrome, even though his motivation is kind of self-centered, where it's like, I will pretend to be a hero, and then people will love me. But then, when I'm done, I will sell my inventions to other people, and then they will become super, and then no one will be. Great. This one was like, I'll just make supers look bad because this thing happened, and that's it. Whatever. Who cares?
You're right.
Yeah.
That fell flat for me. And yeah, as I said, I don't know. I find they could do so much more with this going forward. But whatever, it's fine.
And also, I'll say too, in terms of the villain, in terms of like skill set, like okay, the whole hypnotizing thing through TV signals. Cool idea. I love that. I love the reference that they make to Outer Limits. I was like, I see what you did there. That's clever. I like that, right? But still, like compared to Syndrome, where dude had a freaking this big robot thing that he could control. Cool. He knew about technology and he could use these things to his will, right? In this case, is like TV signals and hypnosis goggles, and that's it. Why are you such a big threat now? Because you could just slip on a pair of goggles over someone's eyes and make them do what you tell them to do. Yeah, kind of weak. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the villain, unfortunately,
kind of weak. And they could have, as I say, they could have write it and have it make some sense of that better, in my opinion. But I don't know. I would have tried to make it. I don't know. It just the writing really was poor in this one.
It is.
That's a big disappointment.
Yeah. Well, I would say it's.
Could feel like a sequel that come out like a couple years after. It doesn't feel like 14 years of planning. It really didn't feel like the energy. That's my problem with it.
I totally agree with you. It's almost like he had this script in the back burner, and he just kind of pick it up, dust off, shake off the dust, and just kind of rework certain things, add a little, SJW stuff there, particularly the character of Void. That's all I would say, and try to spruce it up and make it a little bit more appealing to our audience. Last things last, I want to say also to just the story arcs themselves, the way how they were framed, how they were paced and whatnot. For one thing, you're right. I was disappointed that Dash didn't get anything to do. Like, I thought that he was one of the standout characters for the first one.
Yeah,
and, like
for the first one, he had the big sequence, right?
Of course,
probably the big action sequence in that one.
Love that, right? And I'm not saying everybody needs to have this big story arc that has to, take up, a lot of time, but he's hardly in the film, in my opinion. Also, I felt that there was like this kind of uneven balance between Mr. Incredible at home and Elastigirl doing this new job. I felt that it felt kind of uneven. Like, there were times with the dad that was funny, but oftentimes it's like, okay, where's the story going? Is this going to be a Mr. Mom scenario? And then when you get to Elastigirl, it's like, all right, I see where they get at, but where's this going? Is she eventually gonna stop the villain alone, or where's the family? Why is the family not involved? The little subplot with Violet, I felt could have been handled a lot better, because yes, I see what they were doing, using her boyfriend, as an angle to kind of create this whole subplot of, her, becoming mature and becoming, that kind of stuff, right? But still, I felt it didn't really go anywhere at the end, even right down to how they handled the boyfriend, how they were handling the boyfriend throughout the show, not even at the end of the film, was just like, yeah, that didn't work for me. But yeah, overall for me is you're right. It does feel like this was written or this should have come out like 2 years afterwards. It still would have felt fresh.
Yeah.
But with that 14-year gap, you're right. There could have been more ideas. And yes, I mean, yes, there is a reasonable enough attempt at world building, but just not enough for it to be like, okay, this was worth the 14-year wait. I think that's the overall problem. That with all these stuff that he tried to do, it just didn't live up to that 14-year wait.
Right. And for me, as I said, my big problem was that the one interesting thing from the last film, they should have focused on for a sequel. Look, I not pretending that I know what Bradburn Brain is or where he was going with it, but I really wanted them to expand on Jack. Jack was the only interesting thing. What they did, nothing about this was interesting from a world building standpoint. Or conceptual standpoint, especially with respect to talking about superheroes and superhero genre.
Yeah, you're right. Get that. You hit the nail on the head because that was what made the first one so great. That's why it is one of the best superhero movies because of what it did in terms of playing on the superhero genre. This one is more on family, and that's okay. But what about the superhero stuff? It's almost like the superhero stuff is kind of pushed aside, basically.
Right, and as my attitude is, look, you could still have an incredible shoe that could do the Jack stuff, right? Whatever, we will see.
Right,
but as I say, going forward,
and last I will say before we get to rated, right? While I was watching short stuff, it'd be cool if they set the story like 10 years later. So instead of the 60s aesthetic, you get the 70s.
No, 14 years.
Yeah,
do it the exact same time, 14 years later, which is
Yeah, so
because to me, why do do this? Have Jack be roughly or where Violet was now? So you have all of that drama and emotion and whatever it is, but it's him now, with all his insane powers and whatever it is and what that means.
Exactly, yeah, and you could still
him
play
going forward. And I had a general script idea what to do, but whatever.
Right, and you could still play on the idea of being a family because, when you get older, you probably want to be independent, do your own thing. But while, say, look at the 70s, 70s, you have this new style of, like, superhero, TV shows and comics. So you could be playing off of shows like Wonder Woman or Incredible Hulk, that more kind of mainstream, twist on the superhero genre. So you could have done some creative there, and even right down to the Bond movies and the reference, instead of play the Sean Connery stuff again, particularly with the music, try a Roger Moore stuff, try a little bit more over the top stuff.
Yeah.
So just a fresh new kind of paint. We just switch the period, just do something a little bit different. But here it just kind of feels like the same old scene. Yeah. It does feel kind of uninspired. And yes, there's a lot of great things about it. That's the reason why I would still recommend seeing it on big screen. But once again, it's just like, just did not live up to that hype though. So, what is your rating for The Incredibles, Ricardo?
All right. Well, before I just want to talk about the short before, which was kind of fucked up.
Yes, Bow. How can we forget about Bow?
It was real kind of fucked up, though. But whatever.
Bow gets a decent score. Yeah, Bow is decent. Bow it kind of handles the whole idea of loss in this particularly weird way, though. But it's the climax that catch me. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it's interesting, but real depressing in a way when you think about it. But yeah, we'll check it out. It's no Piper, but it's very depressing and thought provoking when you think about it. But yeah,
right. So that no, I don't know. I wanted to like this a lot, but I was really disappointed. I'll give it a low movie tongue again. Just fell flat. It set piece wise it looked good, but that is more flash and that is more style over substance. I really wanted the substance that the first film had.
Yes.
Really was underwhelmed by that. Again, the idea I had in my head of what they should have done with this, they could still do it for part 3. Hopefully. We'll see.
Right.
If they're not part 3 at all. However, by this time we'll see what they'll do going forward. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, for me, this is one of the better Pixar sequels that we've gotten. No, it does not live up to the wait, the 14-year wait. I know it's not better than the original one. But it's still entertaining. It's still fun. You still will have a good time. Just don't expect the lightning in a bottle moment that was the first Incredibles movie.
The first one,
so for me, I will give this a light 4 out of 5 stars. If you're I mean, it's worth checking out. You know, even on big screen, even in 3D, you can go see it with your family, friends, have fun with it. But if you're really expecting this movie to be a better than the original one, you will be very disappointed by it. Better yet, probably you could just wait till it comes out on home media. It's just like with Deadpool 2. Like, I wouldn't mind buy the two of them in this like 2-pack collection or whatever it is, but not separate. But unless I had the original one, then that's the only reason why I'd buy the second. If I had the original one, sorry, that would be the only reason why I'd buy the second one. Like, for diehard fans, they probably will love this one, but yeah, I'd admit they kind of dropped the ball here.
I know people defending it, yeah. Yeah.
But in no way am I saying...
I mean,
it's not a terrible movie, yeah? We're not saying it's terrible.
Nah.
But it just does not live up to the potential of that first movie.
Right.
No matter
and it's not,
how
it's
hard
not
you try.
It's not as bad as other... It's not as bad as other Pixar sequels that's not Toy Story. So it's not
I kind of defend Finding Dory, but once again, it just felt a little like... Yeah, this is what we wait for. Like, really? This is it? Okay, whatever. Moving on.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it did give us Spike, you know, the best Pixar short like ever in history.
Right.
Yeah.